Over the last 10 years, DC Comics media as a whole has not been very good. Whether it's live action cinematic movies, live action TV shows, or animated movies or animated TV shows, in my honest opinion, this has been the weakest era of DC media. We are long past the golden age and the golden era when DC actually put care and focus into most of the media they put out to show the world. Even though we've had some gems over a couple of years, we've had some little sprinkles of hope, some little great movies here and there, but overall, the main sentiment of DC right now is that their media is ass or is just not really good. And we've seen in 2024 that DC has been trying to right those wrongs. Now, truthfully, it actually really started in late 2022 when James Gunn was announced that he would be taking helm of the whole DC media. You know, when Black Adam bombed in the box office, you know, everyone was cast out, everyone was fired, everyone as a whole was completely changed. Everything was changed because they hired James Gunn and they canceled a lot of the old DCEU stuff. So the last 4 DCEU movies that were released are now officially part of the dead DCEU brand, except for the Batman, which is now still canon and is still greenlit for a second movie. But James Gunn, he's trying to put his influence in DC live action and DC animation, but particularly for this video, I'm going to be talking about the animation side because I'm going to be honest with you, this year, apart from the trash Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths, this year has produced some entertaining DC animation. We've had the most recent My Adventures of Superman season, we even had Suicide Squad Isekai, and now we're having Batman the Caped Crusader, and I just watched the first 2 episodes because all of the first season's episodes are all available right now to watch. And I'm gonna be very honest with you, this show has Batman the Animated Series vibes. Now, is it as good as Batman the Animated Series? No, but on its own, can it influence this new generation, and or at least influence some people in this new generation in a similar way as Batman the Animated Series did in the early 90s and the mid 90s? I'm gonna say it's very possible because this show, it is very good in my opinion, despite some things I didn't really like, but I'll excuse it because I think it's a part of the Elseworlds project that they're doing. Now, let me just say this right off the bat. I do like how they are incorporating some of the DCAU like title cards. Every episode when it starts, the intro, you see the title cards and they all look different. They all have their own vibe to it, and like it kind of gives a foreshadowing as to how the episode will be and how the episode will feel. And this is reminiscent of Batman the Animated Series when they used to be doing that, and I like that they implemented that. So the first episode, it's actually just about Batman trying to see what the conflict in between Rupert Thorne and the Penguin. Now, the main difference is that Penguin is not a male. He's not Oswald Cobblepot. He is Oswalda Cobblepot. And I know this may piss off a lot of people. At first, I didn't like it, in my opinion. But I'm going to say this right now, since it's Elseworld, since they're not really showing that this is like in the current time, because obviously this is like based in the 50s or the 60s. So since they're not making it as if it's the mainline DC universe they're doing in the animated universe, or at least some form of it, I'm gonna give it a pass, you know what I mean? Because it's Elseworlds in DC. There's a lot of versions of characters that are women, that are men, you know, that are changed when it's Elseworlds, you know? So I'm gonna just say that right now. But I liked how dark some of the scenes were, not in terms of gory, but in terms of the stealth aspect of Batman, the detective aspect of Batman, and you know, the slow periods of when Batman is gathering evidence, or when, you know, Batman is in between beating somebody's ass. I like how they made that feel like, yeah, this is an actual detective story. But there's another change in the first episode, and that's Commissioner Gordon and Barbara Gordon are black, and I did not care about that. I think both characters, they played the essence of Barbara and Commissioner Gordon. And remember, this is not a mainline story, this is an Elseworld story. So I like that they felt exactly like who they're supposed to be, because a lot of the characters, they have different designs, different kind of like costume designs, except for Batman. Batman has the iconic first costume that he had on mainline comics. He has that, and I've been wanting to see that for a long time, and I liked how he looks like it, but also looking like the DCAU Batman. But Awada Cobblepot, she is celebrating something on her yacht, and it has all of the Gotham elite to come in on that yacht. It has the police, it has like crime bosses, and someone who arrived late, Bruce Wayne, also arrived there as well. So when this was all happening, we're starting to see Oswada's conflicts with Rupert Thorne. We're seeing that she was the one that was behind the bombings of Rupert Thorne's places, and Batman, as Bruce Wayne, is picking that up. So he goes to see some room that Oswada had under the yacht, and he had to instantly leave because Oswada and her family and crew were coming, and Oswada killed one of her sons because her son was ratting her out to Rupert Thorne. Then we now see the end of the episode where Batman eventually has to stop Oswalda from shooting like rockets from her like umbrella type cannon to the police station, because her son is completely ratting her out to Commissioner Gordon. And for the fight scenes, they're pretty good. Sometimes a little bit tame, but they know how to make Batman be a brawler. And this show has some deaths because, like I said, Oswada killed her son. She wrapped him around a suitcase or casket like thing and dumped him in water. So this show has deaths, you know what I mean? And the episode ended when Batman beat Oswalda, but it was too late because now that Oswalda was defeated, now Rupert Thorne has control over her part that she just lost. But what I will critique about Oswalda is that she didn't do the penguin laugh. Like, how Penguin, when he laughs, he's trying to laugh like a bird, you know what I mean? Like wah, 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 I wish she would have done that to have the real Penguin feel. But the first episode was pretty good. It was a pretty good first episode of seeing how the show will be, seeing how it's more linear, it's more street based, it's more detective type feeling. So the second episode about Clayface, it starts off with a woman that Bruce Wayne dropped off. She now went missing, and then when she went missing, there's a big investigation going around with Renee Montoya being the lead detective, to find out what's happening. Then when she's interviewing a lot of people, she interviewed Bruce Wayne because Bruce was the last person that dropped her off. She interviewed Basil Carlo, aka Clayface, and I liked how he looked like as Basil, but his Clayface model, I see where they're going for, and I respect what they're doing by making it different, but I wish he was that big gooey monster that he is. I wish they'd actually make him a big gooey monster later in the series or season, hopefully. But we're seeing that Renee, she's interviewing a lot of these people. She's interviewing to see what happened to this missing girl. But as we're seeing this, the people that she's interviewing, they end up dead as well by this man who we see Clayface. But Batman fought Clayface 3 times in the episode. The first time he fought him was when Renee Montoya was interviewing one person and Clayface was near the area. And he fought him again when one of Clayface's former directors was about to get killed by him because Clayface, he snuck back into the director's place, the casting set, to try to kill this director. But then Batman now discovers 2 dead bodies that were hidden under the casting set, and those 2 dead bodies were people that Renee Montoya just interviewed, but she just interviewed them hours ago, but the bodies were actually dead for at least a day. So Clayface is showing that he is actually morphing into these people because we're not seeing how Clayface's origin was. He wanted to get this girl that was in this role, and it kind of changes how Clayface wanted to get this big like role in the main comics, but he wanted to get the girl that eventually went missing, but then she rejected him, and it was because of his face, because of how he looked like. So then he now did that surgery to try to get her, but then she now actually rejected him when Batman or Bruce Wayne dropped her off. When she rejected him, Clayface now kidnapped her, and he's now killing all these people. So when eventually the episode ends, when Clayface kidnapped Renee Montoya because he morphed himself into that doctor that actually was helping him, because Clayface already killed that doctor a long time ago. The fight at the end is kind of underwhelming. I like the first two fights in the beginning of it, but the fight ends and we're seeing that now that the police, they're actually onto Batman and they want to capture him in. So that's where I kind of stopped. I have to watch the third episode and more. I like this series. I like what they're going with. I really like what they're going with, and I like how dark it is. I like how mysterious it is. You know, it's feeling like it's an actual detective story. But like I said, the other two criticisms that I said about, I wish Awada will be doing the penguin laugh, and you know, there's some little changes in the show, but in my opinion, I don't mind those changes. I think it actually helped the show, in my opinion. But is this show a worthy successor to the Batman animated series? I'll say yes, it's a worthy successor to the Batman the animated series, because it actually makes you feel like you're seeing Batman. It makes you feel that you're actually watching a Batman story. So I think this show is a very good show. I'd recommend the show, in my opinion. But do I feel that it's better than Batman the animated series? No. In my opinion, no Batman show and no superhero show is better than Batman the animated series. But that's the end of the video. I'm out. Peace.